welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Vintage at the request of Patreon subscriber Lil Nebstar, and I am playing Nebstar's top placing Powerless Vintage deck from North American Eternal Weekend this year. He finished 18th with no Power 9 in the deck, which is worth a separate prize at Eternal Weekend. They do have an Unpowered category, so congrats on that. And I think that Bug is a really smart way to go if you're playing Unpowered. I know somebody made a deep run with Unpowered Bug in Eternal Weekend Prague as well. Somebody made top 8 with Unpowered White Initiative. There's a strong showing this year for Unpowered decks. And Bug makes a lot of sense. A lot of the time when people play Unpowered in a Vintage tournament, they either take a Legacy deck and try to make it work, or they take an existing Vintage deck and just sort of cut the power from it. Like something like White Initiative is a popular choice there because you could still play things like Spirit Guides and Mana Vault and Mana Crypt and execute your game plan. Your Ancient Tombs, your City of Traders, they still do the mana ramp. But I think it would be more useful if people built decks intentionally without wanting power. And Bug fits that description very well. Deathrite Shaman, banned in Legacy. That stands in as a Mox in a lot of situations. In a lot of situations, it's better than a Mox. Bug is a deck that plays 4 Collector Roof anyway, even the powered builds do. And once the oof is down, you'd actually rather not have Moxen and Black Lotus you could draw in the deck. Although there are matchups where you need to cast it on turn 1, or you'd like to cast it on turn 1, where it's worth going down a card to shut off your opponent's whole hand. But welcome to Vintage. In a lot of matchups, that won't be the case, and you're not stepping on any of your own cards with Collector Roof in an unpowered build. Obviously, there is no substitute for Time Walk and Ancestral Recall. Bug only plays the on-color Moxen, Black Lotus, Ancestral, and Time Walk. And like I said, we could live without the Moxen with the Deathrite Shaman and just solid mana throughout. The Collector Roof's in the deck anyway. Demonic Tutor for Ancestral is a reload that we don't have access to, but we do have Treasure Cruise and some Lurin Revealeds trying to pick up that slack. And we just have to accept that we're not going to take 2 turns in a row. But Mana Acceleration, Mana Denial, the full 5 Wasteland effects are present in this deck. We have a clock provided by Bowmaster, Psychic Frog, Oko, Leovold. Endurance provides some free interaction on top of this 6 forces we're already playing. 8 if you count Force of Vigor. There's lots of pitch interaction here. And if we force the opponent to play at a normal speed, whether it's through Collector Oof or our various forces or Leovold, then we're actually advantaged. This is the same idea the Lurrus decks, the Esper and Dimir Lurrus decks that are at the top of the Vintage format, are based on. If you force your opponent to play Legacy when they came to play Vintage, and your deck is built to play Legacy, then you're going to be advantaged in that world. If somebody just goes way over the top of us and dumpsters our face, is what it is, but the powered Lurrus decks have those same problems. And if we get a game that lasts 2 or 3 turns or beyond, our cards make a lot of sense, even without Power 9 involved. Decks like this one are a great entry into Vintage for people who want to come to Eternal Weekend and maybe they're intimidated or just don't have the cards to play the Vintage main event. Nebstar got a promo Tinker and whatever the top budget prize was. I think it was like $500 plus a top 32 prize. Like, he had a really good weekend with this deck with no Power 9. Let's showcase it, and I hope it holds up here in the leagues. I'm on the play in round 1 versus a Lurrus strategy. This might actually be really good news, because if this is Dimir or Esper Lurrus and a deck that wants to play slow anyway, this is not a deck that's going to combo dumpster me. There are Lurrus combo decks. We'll just cast this Deathrite Shaman and see what happens. All the lands in the deck cast Deathrite. Life from the Loam is something I have access to. Yeah, I think I want Tropical Island here. Volcanic Island is bad news. That probably means this is some kind of Lurrus Breach deck, or the Brian Kelly Jeskai Breach build. There's like Grixis and Jeskai builds of Luris Breach out there, but Volcanic Island is not a normal card to be present in the top Luris decks. But I'm going to go for full cheese mode here. If you lock your opponent out of the game, it doesn't matter what their plan is. Force of Will. Okay, that's not Force of Negation. That is a temporary stopgap versus Life from the Loam that I'm just probably going to cast next turn anyway. Oh, okay. Opponent wants to play Stupid Magic with me. We could do that. I guess I can't Dredge Loam now. Just have to draw a card and hope it's a land. And it was. Underground Sea. Exile your Wasteland. I'm going to play this Collector Roof. Another Wasteland. Okay. If I ever get this Loam going, this whole plan is terrible. But that does require drawing a bunch of lands in a row now. I'll just attack. What is this Volcanic Island Luris deck with multiple Wastelands in it? I'm very curious. Is this like a Delver Ragavan strategy? Because Breach decks don't usually have a bunch of Wastelands in them. Endurance. Okay, keep the beats coming. I have Blue Force blue card and Green Force green card and or Endurance green card. Yeah, this is like some kind of Grixis something or other. Pushing my Deathrite. I don't think I want to play a game where that's happening. A Fatal Push. All right. I'm going to leave back Deathrite now. I have a spell I could cast with it. Opponent, really good job with the double Wasteland, though, keeping this Life from the Loam in the graveyard, and yet I'm still mana screwed. That's cool stuff. Bummer. All right, I'll exile their Wasteland from their graveyard, and now I'm in trouble. Hey, another Wasteland. I probably just waste them. If we're all playing Stupid Magic, let's play some Stupid Magic. I have a 2/2 in play, and they don't. God, that's so many lands. All right, I officially feel like I'm behind at this point. Spellbomb doesn't work, though. Force of Will, no blue card to go with it. Is this just like a Grixis control deck? An off-meta Grixis control deck? I'd hate to just ram into a Snapcaster Mage or something here, but I have to keep attacking. I'm just not winning a game where I don't apply damage. Psychic Frog. Shit. Well, I need a Black Source right now. Black Source? No! Okay. I wonder if this deck is also powerless. It's a little risky for them to start attacking, but they're doing it. 6 cards in their hand, 4 life. Second Frog. Still hate it. Still need a Black Source. Alright. I think this one's about over. I'm going to discard this. Nope. Yeah, Assassin's Trophy is not going to be part of this game. Discarded Mishra's Bauble. Treasure Cruise. Alright. I'm good. We don't have to keep doing this. That was close, though. Okay. Thoughtseize is a maybe. Long Goodbye. If they're a deck with Psychic Frog, I would like to kill that thing. I don't think I need my Force of Vigors based on how that game went. They're definitely kind of a fair deck, if not actually unpowered themselves. Thoughtseize is good interaction against basically everyone. I could pivot in these Fluster Storms over Force of Negation if I don't think they're going busted. This just cuts a bunch of 2-for-1 interaction for 1-for-1 interaction. Dismember may also be useful. It can kill Psychic Frog sometimes. Maybe I want Dismember more than I want this third Flusterstorm. Okay. Here we go. I'll keep my hand. The one of Life from the Loam here again. With Deathrite Shaman. Dr. S. Probe. They know what I'm working with. They know I have Loam. They know Wastelanding me won't get them very far. Wastelanding when you're behind against Deathrite Shaman is always a mess, though. That's dead. I'm just going to Loam and make sure my mana's good. That's what cost me last game. Only getting back 1 card's not that exciting, but this fetch land guarantees I can cast Loam even through a Wasteland next turn. Oh, Force of Negation. All right, they had the whole... They had the open. Collapsed my opening hand. Can they punish? I'm not in much of a position to beat a Wasteland now. Time Walk. Okay, they're powered. Now we know. That was an ugly Time Walk, though. They just basically untapped their lands and passed. What does Demonic Tutor get here? I could DT for Wasteland. And if they're going to Time Walk and miss a land drop, that's like pretty decent. I'm going to try the Demonic Tutor first and see what happens. Yeah, just grabbing Wasteland trying to screw them is something I could do, but if they clap back and screw me, I'm in trouble. I'm not close to Treasure Cruise. And Psychic Frog's a banger. But what's in their hand if they didn't deploy a threat? I think it's either Wasteland or Psychic Frog here. I'll get the Wasteland. Just that Time Walk was so ugly and bad that I think I have an advantage I can push here. Okay, they're still missing land drops. Brainstorm. Let's find some juice. Mental misstep. You got it. Okay. Depending on how many basic lands I think they play, this Assassin's Trophy might be insane here. A lot of vintage decks don't have more than one. Oh god. Well, I have to force this. They have so many cards in hand. Okay, wow. Well, that worked. Tropical Island. Alright. I am going to bet on black here and hope they don't have another basic in their deck. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, they have 5 cards in hand to my 1. I do need to do something here to turn this corner. There's no techie lands. There's no hedge maze or anything. It's actually just a fetch land. And I've already cast my Brainstorm. I guess Fatal Push is literally in my hand. That's a reason to have one of those. Now we'll see if I can do anything before I lose. Strip mine. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now I'm attacking and cutting off a bunch of the mana they could draw. If they have Time Walk, I have to imagine they at least have their On-Color Moxen and Black Lotus in the deck. Yeah. All right, well, they're right back out of it, and with their 6 cards in hand, now I'm worried. I needed that to hold for like another 7 turns. Ancestral Recall. Yep, that's a card you have. Now I feel in trouble. I'm going to play this land. It represents Force of Will. Now it depends on what their win cons are. If they are some sort of hybrid Xerox Breach deck, Collector Roof's going to be really good. If their win cons are just a bunch of Psychic Frogs, I can kill the next 2 things they play. Ponder. Dreadhorde Arcanist. That's what we're up to. Okay, I'm going to push that. I'm going to save Long Goodbye. It's both a more sure thing and it can hit Luris. And I'm going to fetch another Underground Sea right now. Removal. Can I tempo out for 5 more turns? I'm going to float a blue off this Underground Sea that they've decided to strip. Psychic Frog, you're in there. I think I want to dismember this thing and see if I could get them to discard a bunch of cards before I just kill it. Nice and smooth. Okay, Forest Pitching Force is what they actually had there. Fetch for Bayou in the end step. I could attack and probably get a card out of them. I think a card is worth more than 2 damage right now. Okay, this is going to tell them I have a removal spell. Block. Discarded Black Lotus. Goodbye. And Deathrite is a huge clock. The bad news is that Black Lotus was barely a card, but it was literally a rectangle that was in their hand, even if it wasn't impacting the game very much. I am F6'd all in. They do need to solve this problem, but they do have a handful of cards to do it with. Ponder. Brainstorm. They did not shuffle their Ponder. I'd be a little surprised if Breach wasn't in this deck, but I mean, I have no way to know for sure. This seems like the type of deck where you're just kind of this tempo Grixis thing, and then you have 2 copies of Breach and a Brain Freeze somewhere in there. Just give you another angle. Pushed my Deathrite. I will miss you. I have another one. Oof you down to 5. Deploy another Doctor. Cycled Lorien revealed. Kind of scary that they want land number 5. I guess that sets up Luris for next turn. Psychic Frog. That's really good. They have exactly enough cards in hand to beat my Oof if I attack. I guess it's a Deathrite Shaman game from here. Let's go. They got Luris. No attack. Yep. Good call. Exile target instant or sorcery. How about this Ancestral Recall? Bonus at 3. Oko Thief of Crowns. That card's good. Cast Oko. Pyroblast. Alright, that's a card they had. They are not currently beating me, though. They have to answer Deathrite Shaman this turn. If they can do that, I'm in a lot of trouble. Ponder. Shuffle. Wasteland. That doesn't really matter. Oh, they could have jumped their Frog last turn. That was a mistake by both of us. I should have been targeting my own graveyard. Okay, what do we have? Psychic Frog, Black Lotus, Dreadhorde Arcanist. I don't care about any of those things. Yeah, they could be at 5 right now. That was a huge spew. Psychic Frog from the graveyard. If they attack with this Frog, I will block with Oof. Okay, so you're just dead. Exile my own Fatal Push. Frog can't protect you from this one. Okay, cool. Yeah, we both made a mistake that I think would have actually cost me the game if they operated on it. Does my sideboard change at all? I don't think so. And having another Flusterstorm to fight, now that I know they're powered, fighting their Ancestrals and Time Walks and stuff sounds reasonable. What would I cut? And we've seen Dreadhorde Arcanist and Lurrus, which means I do like the one of Endurance. Leovold's a hammer. I'm an unpowered vintage deck, which makes me nervous about cutting a Force of Will. I don't like Force of Will in this mostly fair matchup, but at the same time, they're playing vintage, and I'm playing Legacy. Yeah, it's like Lorien Revealed, Force of Will, or nothing, I think, are what I'm looking at. Or maybe I could cut Dismember, but killing their creatures as they deployed them was huge that whole game. Demonic Tutor's pretty underwhelming, but I mean, it is the best card in my deck plus 2 mana at all times. All right, I'll cut a Lorien Revealed for a Flusterstorm and hope that works. Gotta get one on the draw now. I like my hand just fine. They're representing possible Lightning Bolt or a Mental Misstep. Or just Ancestral in my upkeep. Hell yeah. Let's go. Okay, Deathray, get in there. I have a handful of exciting 2-drops if I ever get to cast them. Cycling Lorien. Underground Sea, Fatal Push. Alright, see you later. Orcish, or Deathray Shaman. Orcish Bowmaster versus Psychic Frog now. I think I'm going to play my Psychic Frog. Though Bowmaster doesn't die to Pyroblast, a card that we have seen. I think I'd still rather get card advantage going than try to squeeze what they're doing. And I can cast 2 spells next turn. A Beast Storm. Mox Ruby. Turn 3 of Game 3, and we see a Mox into Time Walk. Look at you with your Power 9 cards. Why don't you pick on someone your own size? They're fetching in their own end step before they go to their own turn. Dismember. I'd have to discard 4 cards to make this work. That is not going to happen. Yeah, that's a good Dismember. The art on this Dismember is crazy. It's just a giant Phyrexian actually pulling members off of a thing. Off of a little dude. Dig Through Time. So they've seen about 23 cards this game to my 10. Oh no. My plan to double spell just collapsed. Dreadhorde Arcanist. With Ancestral Recall still on the bin. I'd love a Fatal Push right now. Life from the Loam. You're not it, I fear. Well, I'm going to have to Orcish Bowmaster and try to snag this Ancestral on the way back up. This has to beat their 5-card hand. No counterspell, no removal spell. Okay, they've cast Ancestral. I'll cast Bowmaster. Hope the 5 cards in their hand are all blanks. Force of Will. Okay. I'm not going to concede here, even though I'm pretty sure I'm dead. Because grinding it out with the unpowered deck is kind of the point here. Like, if I draw Fatal Push, stick this Deathright, and their hand is air, that becomes very good. Okay, their hand is not air. Yeah, game 1 was really good. It was so fair that I proposed that maybe they're unpowered, and then overcame some power game 2, and then game 3, this quite a spread of cards that they've had. All right, Oko Thief of Crowns. Can you get in here? Can you cause some problems? Nope. All right, I'm good now. Yeah, they got the squad going now. I'm never getting back from this. That was pretty good, but the turn 1 Ancestral with the Mox to leverage it into second Ancestral, Time Walk, yep. A bit too much. On to the next round. 3-for-1 Trading is having a New Year sale. All their high-end singles, full sets, and out-of-print sealed product is 5% off, and they offer free worldwide shipping on all orders over $500 or Euro. Their online store has a fantastic selection of high-end Magic cards, especially for vintage, legacy, and old-school players. There will be additional deals on selected products throughout the promotion. Visit shop.3for1trading.com to learn more. I'm on the play in round 2, where I do have Wasteland Lorien revealed. It doesn't really do anything. If it's a matchup where Force of Vigor is good, that's something. There's 19 lands in my deck. I'm going to have 2 of them out of the way. That's 17 left. There's another Lorien revealed. Like, Deathright Shaman's a good draw. I wish I got Lorien revealed for Misty Rainforest. I would keep on the Strength of Loam if I could do this. I'm going to mulligan. Okay, this is much better. Keep. And I could bottom the Gitaxian Probe and just say I don't care what your deck is. I'm doing the same thing either way. I could bottom Collector Oof and hope they're not an artifact combo deck. I think Oof and Frog I have to keep, though. I could bottom one of the forces and hope one is enough to get over the line. I think I'm going to do that. Now I get to keep my info, keep my plays. Oh, we're Nadu with 1, 2, 3 artifacts in hand. Okay, so I have to force this turn 1 Nadu if that's what's happening. There's also a Delighted Halfling there if they want to go that route. Sapphire, Jet. If they just play 2 mana dorks and pass, that's trouble for me. Maybe I have to force this. Okay, force Halfling pitching Psychic Frog. They could still Death right here, but then they would need more mana. They would need a 3rd mana to cast the Nadu from their hand because Death Right's 1 and drops 1, but my plan is collect a Roof this turn. Yeah, let's go. Take a turn off the Deathrite Shaman, and now I get to smoke your whole shit. Let's go. All right. Get Trop, get C. I said that backwards, but it works the same. Okay, if they have a Force of Will here, hopefully they at least have, or they definitely have to pitch Nadu to do it. Okay, cool. All right, go to bed. Just Nadu as a 3/4 creature is a concern of its own, though. Do they want to strip me here or guarantee that they can cast Nadu next turn? If their last unknown card in hand is a land, then they already know they can Nadu next turn. And they're definitely going to strip me. Okay, that happened. Land or card I can cast? None of the above. And now we're kind of in trouble. If they just miss a land drop and don't do anything, I like my spot. But if they cast Nadu here, even just 3/4 flying is something that I'm going to struggle with. Exiled my land. Oh god. My Swarm. Okay, they grieved up their Deathrite. If I draw a land here, we're back in the same position, maybe even a better one. All right, come on, land off the top. Land. No! Alright, well, I can force the Nadu. I'll take that for whatever that's worth. And because they put Greaves on Deathrite, that means they can't put Shuko on it. It has Shroud, and there's nowhere else to put these Greaves. Yeah, have a look. Gitaxian Probe sees the Force. And the backup Oof. Come on! Alright, well, nope, it doesn't even matter. The Collector Oof doesn't help either. Because this is 3 mana. I mean, it'll at least turn off the random shit. Alright, I just lose. Alright, I'm dead. Yeah, giving that haste is really good. What a stupid draw. Okay. Removal spells, Thoughtseize. Force of Vigor doesn't seem bad if I can kill their Shukos and stuff. Force of Negation does seem pretty bad. Flusterstorm does not seem very important. Everything they cast that game was a permanent. This deck might be affected by Grafdigger's Cage. Gotta imagine they have a Zenith or something in there. They're not going to have Nadu in their opening hand every time. Consigned to Memory can counter all their artifacts. Do I want the other Force of Vigor, the crazy looking one? Endurance might not be that important. Okay, I will try it like this. We've hit kind of a weird pairing of matchups these first 2 rounds where they are powered decks that also have an extremely solid normal Magic plan. If my opponent's deck is only normal Magic, they're kind of playing my game anyway. And if they're playing super busted, like Breach combo, Jewel Shops kind of stuff, that's something that my deck is built to stuff directly. But when they are able to interact on normal means and they also have power in them, then they're just kind of what I'm doing, but better. Okay, I'm going to play out this Underground Sea. I'm going to hope that they don't just strip mine me on turn 1. Because if I draw a land, I would rather cast Psychic Frog than Orcish Bowmaster. And I want to give myself that out. Sapphire. Saga. Oh my god. Untap target artifact or creature. Alright. A Phaedo Alchemist is in play in Vintage. Count it. That happened. Gitaxian Probe. What are you working with? Ancestral Recall. Time Vault. Legolas's Quick Reflexes. Great. Okay. Well, I'm going to Wasteland this Urza Saga. And pass the turn. I'm going to have to force the Ancestral. Lotus Petal was the draw. Ancestral's on the stack. I'll force that, exiling Oko. I still believe in Psychic Frog. If I have to force again, I'll do that. Oko's a long way off. Time Vault. I guess this is just game, right? All right, so I'll force that as well. Yeah, this goes infinite with Time Vault. That's crazy. Truly insane. A quick reflex is untap target creature until end of turn it gains hexproof reach, and when it's tapped, it hurts things. Can I draw a land? Okay, this does let me set up kind of a longer plan. I'm gonna waste the Bayou. They can untap the Mox with the Alchemist, but they are playing on mono blue mana right now. Another Wasteland, sweet. I'll play that out. Just letting you know you're in trouble. Hopefully they'll just attack this turn and I could trade Orc Army for one of the Alchemists. Or they might just cast Brainstorm or Treasure Cruise and I get to do everything. Let's kill their whole squad. Here they come. Bowmaster. Deal a damage. Block. Okay, that was a Stone Rain. That also takes a point off the clock. I do need some real cards though. These are not the real cards I'm looking for. And if they find green mana, my Bowmaster is just dead to Quick Reflexes. I guess Quick Reflexes also just kills any number of creatures here with Epheto Alchemist, because it can tap to untap itself. It doesn't say other. Interesting. This deck is awesome. Alright, the third Epheto Alchemist. Oh my god, deck, please. Stop. They decided not to attack. A useful card. Oh my god. And kind of. The Quick Reflexes in their hand makes it a lot worse. That card has Split Second, so if they draw the green, we're just kind of frozen. Okay. Underground Sea, pass. Dismember. I can kill all their creatures. I'll waste this Underground Sea. Vamp Tutor in response. I wonder if they're going to vamp for some combo piece or just like a green source. But this only deals damage to a creature. This isn't infinite damage to me. Yeah, I have no idea. I think I should just kill their squad and attack. I guess I should play around Spell Pierce and just take the damage. That is just a card that exists and they might actually have. Okay. Bowmaster, you got to hold for 15 turns. Let's hope whatever they vamped for was contingent on having the Alchemist in play. A green source. Look at that. I think that is what they vamped for. Attack. Death Rate. Real card. Real pressure. Oh, good. Black Lotus. We were having a good game. Okay, they have a Nadu. We know they're holding at least Quick Reflexes to get one trigger out of it. I'd kind of love a... No, I wouldn't love a Collector Roof because that's just dead. Yeah, they can kill whatever they want. Whichever my creatures are more worried about next turn with Quick Reflexes. Okay, they're attacking, saving the reflexes for another time. They are winning the race versus Death Rate. I think I need to gain life here and try to buy some more turns, buy some more draw steps, rather than try to race them. Just hard locked by this card. Collector Oof, get in there. That doesn't turn off the correct color of mana. I'm going to attack with Bowmaster, because if they use reflexes to block, then they don't get the full removal suite of whatever the hell they want to do next turn. And they did not fall for it. Okay, it's time. Deathrite Shaman in your hand. Alright, are they killing my Deathrite or my Oof? My Oof it is. Yeah, I am going to deal damage this time. Beastorm. Oh my goodness. Real card with text. Brainstorm. Oko and Lorien. Well, I will try to cast Oko. We're in there. Can Elk this Nadu? They get a land, but they have an Elk. Attack. They could equip Nadu with 2 Shukos and just kill me here. Deathrite. Long goodbye. Alright. Oko. You almost did something. So I'm dead to Deathrite Shaman if I don't gain life. I'm dead to Nadu if I don't. I guess I was supposed to cycle Lorien Revealed in the main, or in the upkeep. I could draw Fatal Push here, and that buys me another turn. Lorien. Boo. Oh, I could Treasure Cruise, but I don't have any fast mana I could draw. Exile your Bayou. Take a blue, Treasure Cruise. Exile all of the spells from my graveyard, though they have some of their own. I think they'll figure it out. And dead. Alright. GG. This matchup feels terrible. If I was going to I've never seen this deck before. And if I was going to, for my darkest nightmares, build a deck that would probably crush Powerless Bug, it would be exactly this. That was crazy. What a cool deck.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 3. I kind of wish this hand did more, but it does have Force Blue card and Strip Lock with Light from the Loam if I get time to operate, which is always a big maybe. I'm going to play this Misty Rainforest and pass. Basically, this hand, but plus Deathrite Shaman, is my dream. Misty Mox. Are they the powered version of me? A Forg. Alright, well, I'll play the Frog. Psychic Frog. Fetch in the end step, revealing Underground Sea, Orcish Bowmaster. I can defeat that with the Fatal Push in my hand. Don't need to be acting crazy yet. Looks like Bug confirmed. Leovold. Well, I'm not really prepared for this card. I will Force of Will it, pitching my own Leovold. And they're forcing me back, meaning I am in the garbage. Alright, well, I can kill Leovold this turn, but they get to draw 2 cards in the process. I don't think it's getting better, though. Alright, waste your Black Source. In response, push Leovold. Hate this. Okay, they've drawn 100 cards. Playing Deathrite Shaman. I can attack and try to draw a card here. I think that's worth doing. Happy to discard Loam if they want a double block. Okay, they get a Orc trigger, and I have a Polluted Delta. Okay, do your 5 cards beat me? Oko, that one's pretty good. What do they want to Elk, though? I mean, Psychic Frog clearly got a lot going on. If they think they can survive a turn with Oko and not Elk my Frog, that would be sick. Oh wow, they're just making their own 5/5. Okay, attack for 5. Now, how do I leverage this opportunity? Discard Polluted Delta. Cast Light from the Loam. Okay, they didn't force that. Discard Polluted Delta. Discard Misty Rainforest. Discard Misty Rainforest. Strip Mine you. Exile Fatal Push, Force of Will, Misty Rainforest from my graveyard. Kill Oko, draw a card. This 5/5 Orc army is already a bit of an issue. Oh, sick. I can dredge Loam so they don't even get a draw. I will do that. Okay, well, I have the biggest creature now. We'll see how this plays out. I'm going to start by attacking me for 5. End of turn, I'm going to exile their Underground Sea from the graveyard. And then I'm just going to go to my turn. I'm doing that because of Treasure Cruise, Dig Through Time kind of stuff. Loam targeting Trop, Strip, and Delta. Okay, we're going to force a negation. What do we got here? I'm going to kill my Frog in response. I'd rather them force than kill my Frog. Okay, force a negation. I guess I have to chill now. I can't afford to draw a card. Next turn, Deathrite's back on. Emerald. Wasteland. Wasting my green source is pretty effective here. They found the line. Okay, Force Blue card available now. I can start eating... I forgot to exile Wasteland from their graveyard in the end step. I can start eating spells now. Exile your Force of Will. There aren't enough spells in the graveyards to actually kill my opponent. Trophy. That's really good. Okay, now I have an actual spell that does things. Light from the Loam. Okay, so if I had tapped that Deathrite Shaman 3 turns ago, like I meant to, I just forgot when in step 1, I could still get the Wasteland, which is the important card. But I definitely missed one. I'm going to trophy this Bowmaster right now. If I could get that out of the way, then attacking is allowed to happen again. I think this fight is worth the fight. I'm now dead to this 5/5 if it can get through. I doubt they have a basic swamp. Yeah, they have no basic at all. Okay. Facing down a 5/5. What do I want to do here? I could try to kill my opponent in 2 hits. I lose to literally any removal spell, though. I think I gotta risk it for the biscuit. Jumping my frog. Attack. I don't need to discard here. And if I draw a blue card, I have force protection. All right. So block, eat a spell, kill you is the new plan. They got 2 cards in their hand. That one's too slow. And I'm going to target my own graveyard. They block. Yeah, I don't want to just like randomly lose to dig through time. Yeah, cool. All right, found the line. F you and your Power 9 cards. We've kind of done this already. This is going to be a similar plan to the Grixis tempo deck we played against already. I think these non-will forces are all kind of bad. Endurance just being a body is probably fine. I don't hate Thoughtseize. It's just a matter of room, I think. Do I think Thoughtseize is better than Flusterstorm? That's a reasonable question. My oofs are all upside. They showed me 2 mocks in that game. Yeah, I think I want Thoughtseize. I still have 2 Flusterstorms and a Spell Pierce in here. Good enough. Let's go. Alrighty. Interaction, a frog, a redraw. They mull to 6. I think I'm going to play my land before I probe, just in case they Spell Pierce or Veil of Summer or Flusterstorm or anything of the sort. Underground Sea, Wasteland, Oko, Oof, Time Walk. Sure. As we've discussed at length, I don't care about Collector Oof. In fact, I like it. Time Walk. I could just fluster this. That slows them down on Oko for a turn. I think I am going to fluster this Time Walk. Because their plan is to get Oko down before I can do stuff. And I'm not interested in that. I think I should have gotten Tropical Island so I could guarantee Loam. You've got a Wasteland. I've got a Life from the Loam. You've got an Oko. I have a blue card that I don't really want to pitch. I don't want to pitch that blue card either. But I could just cast Life from the Loam here. Or I could sign up for a Wasteland Idiot Fight. I like a Wasteland Idiot Fight. Let's go. Signing up for a Wasteland Idiot Fight when I'm holding Life from the Loam has its own appeal. Though if I miss on my next 2 draw steps, it's going to look really bad. Didn't miss, doesn't look bad. Very smart. Mindful, demure. Lorien Revealed, that one's good. Psychic Frog, well, don't want to play against that. Force pitching, I think it's Leovold. Ooh, okay. Just raw dog it. I was about to start to have to think about whether I'm going to try to spend a turn picking up lands with Loam or just get Frog down. Okay. Wasteland Idiot Fight continues. They have 1 unknown card in their hand. As long as it's not Force of Negation, I like my spot. Bayou, fetch, drop, Life from the Loam, Wasteland, Wasteland, Underground Sea. Oh, come on. All right, Force Negation. At least it costs them the Oko, and I can play Psychic Frog even if they waste me here. That was nasty, though. I'd be surprised if they waste me. And I guess if they're just not doing anything else. Okay, Psychic Frog versus Collector Oof, dual decks, opponent's Hellbent. Drawn lots of lands because my deck plays more lands than normal vintage decks. Black-blue. This is the turn where everything matters. If they just draw Fatal Push right now, the game will be interesting. And if they don't, I will frog their face off. Oh, okay, well, that one might do it too. All right, a Black Lotus that doesn't work because of their own card. We did it. Powerless gaming, looking smart. Force of Will. All right. I'm going to play my own Collector Oof first. I don't want them to be able to remove their Collector Oof and turn on their stuff. I don't even know if that makes sense, but that's how I feel. I'm going to exile these lands from my graveyard and attack. Drawing a card, Wasteland, feeling very smart for playing my land first. I botched that turn for sure. I played out the Oof with the intention of not attacking, or not jumping Frog, and now it's all going to spiral out. Elking the Lotus, that's a good use for that card. Yeah, I'll trade off Collector Oof at this point. Will I? Is that important? Alright, it's fine. That turns on their foods, but I'm not really worried about food being food. My own Oko. Kodoko. They can elk my Psychic Frog in the future, which means I should probably hit with it while I can. I'm going to give this flying. I'm going to put 1 damage on Oko. It's a -5 to steal my frog. I don't actually want to discard any of the cards in my hand. The Oko goes down. That's really good. All right, new plan. What lands are still in my deck? I'll figure that out first. Tropical islands only. A wasteland, Oko, make a food, and I'm just going to push this Black Lotus while I feel like the getting's good. Now I have so much damage, even if they elk my frog, I'm okay with it. Yeah, they're just done. Okay, I'm ahead on the Oko game, and we did it. We beat Powered Bug with Unpowered Bug. My streak of literally never ever losing to Vintage Bug on the channel continues. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the draw in round 4. I'm pretty sure this is somebody I've already played in the league, which can happen in vintage leagues. I'm going to keep my hand. It needs a little bit to go right, but being unpowered means that I'm not even really worried about this Bayou because the best card in my deck is Deathrite Shaman and not Ancestral Recall. Mox Emerald. Is this the person I literally just played? Time Walk? All right. Yeah, no Luris. I recognize the name and everything. Yeah, I think this is a rematch. And I messed up that. It is a problem. Wastelanding a person from behind like this, I think I'm still going to do it. Wastelanding someone who has 3 mana tier 0 is tough, but I think that sort of puncher's chance is what I need. Okay. Their spells are clearly reactive, or else they would have cast them by now. And I hope they stay reactive and we don't just shove an Oko here. Oh no. Psychic Frog. I don't like that. I can just trophy that and be gone with it. Or I can play Orcish Bowmaster and try to tangle with it. I think I'll determine that based on if I draw a land, and I did. Okay. Right, I'm going to buy you and just roast this frog before it can do anything. Yeah, now I'm not worried about Strip Mine, and I don't want them to draw a card. I don't think they have a basic land in their deck. They'll probably draw for turn, then decide how they're going to Strip Mine me, taking me off blue-black. They didn't have the follow-up Wasteland. Do they have a follow-up threat? Treasure Cruise. Shit. Yeah, that's an annoying card for them to have right there. Deathrite Shaman. They're starting to dig out. Wasteland. That's not a card I can play anymore. I need them to do something reckless into this Orcish Bowmaster. Just like cast Brainstorm right now. Let me kill your board. Oko. Hate that. Alkin up a Mox. I can take 3 here. Their Deathrite can't actually... it taps for mana, but blue doesn't create any drain situations, or drain or gains. A Bowmaster, jump in. Jesus. Alright, well, that card's good too. Turns out if I just cast Orcish Bowmaster when the shields were down, it would have been pretty good. Alright. Colored mana for Leovold. I think that's as good as it's going to get. Jumping in this Endurance is cool too, but Leovold actually can gain me card advantage back. They'll probably just elk him, but at least I draw a card off it. And making foods. Are they planning to steal my Leovold? Is that your plan? Forg. That is a large flying creature that does not draw cards. Another Deathrite. And they are in a position to drain now. They did leave up black mana. I'll block with Orc Army if Mox Emerald attacks. Okay, it didn't. They're turtling up. I don't think Wasteland helps me here, but casting Endurance with Flusterstorm backup might. They didn't use Deathrite in the end step, so they're representing some sort of protection spell. Okay, I'm going to draw a card, and now they have my Leovold. Sad. Oh, good stuff for you, bad stuff for me. And a Wasteland. and wasted the correct land. God, this is so unfair that they're doing a good job. Okay, I'm going to play Endurance now, where I can... Fluster doesn't even work. What a mess. All right, Endurance myself. Again, didn't use Death Rate in response. I'll float blue just in case. Now I'm in all sorts of trouble. Psychic Frog. Okay, there is a thing that could happen here where I wasteland them, and then Leovold versus Bowmaster is a game we could play. I'm going to wasteland your Underground Sea. Because this does kill Oko if they draw a card. It did not draw a card. They know how this works. I'll get my own Psychic Frog down here. Exiling my Wasteland. Exiling my Underground Sea. Alright, you have 3 mana floating. Combat. Endurance can touch butts with Psychic Frog, but it'll cost them their whole hand. I'm going to attack Oko. And I don't have to order blockers anymore, which makes this combat easier for me. Okay, they just went with the chump block. I think in the old rules, where if I would have had to order blockers and they could know what they needed to do, they would have double blocked there. So that's actually a meaningful difference right now in the game engine. Elking my Bowmaster. That gives me more power on the board. Though it does turn off, obviously, Orcish Bowmaster. Made a blue from the graveyard. This looks like a great place to point a Flusterstorm. They have 1 mana available. And it costs 2 to protect this. If they have a Daze, they could get it done. Sometimes that card is in these decks, sometimes it's not. And now Psychic Frog is... Their Psychic Frog is smaller than 3/3. Even if they discard their hand. This is a big turn to make something happen. Okay, attack, attack, attack. I can't draw extra cards. I can't just jump my Frog and finish off Oko. Or I could just attack Oko with my 3 creatures. In that case, they probably just wouldn't block then. And I'd rather kill Leovold, Psychic Frog, and Deathrite Shaman than Oko on this board. What if I send just my 2/3 power creatures in? Attack Oko, attack Oko. I'm fine. I would rather kill 2 of their creatures here than Oko. I'm trying to make this block appealing enough without overcommitting to the attack. Like, if I just attack with everything, they obviously just let Oko die. Okay, I'm going to play out my land because this Force of Will is 1 away now. They discarded Misty Rainforest to make their Frog bigger. The Frog can fly. I no longer have anything that's taxing draws. This is just going to happen. Guess I could have touched butts with my Frog. No, their Frog would be bigger. Yeah, they just have more cards in hand than me. That's how Frog math works. Okay, they're going after this now, so my Frog can't fly on their turn. I think this is worth... Is this worth 2 life? Because I have this food as well. Yeah, maybe I just let this happen and eat the food. It's fine. Wasteland. This does cast Force of Will, but I don't know if that helps anymore. My 3 power creatures still play. Psychic Frog still plays. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. On the backswing. I'm dead. Okay. Orc Army could still chill and block Leovold. Alright, I'll leave back Frog and attack with my 3 power creatures. I think I'm going to give up on this Force of Will. I have to beat the board, and the Psychic Frog matters so much here. Like, having 2 cards in hand lets me discard 2 to Frog and then jump Frog, and that turns off Deathrite from getting action out of my graveyard. Jump to your Frog. It's a 2/3. If I discard my hand to make my Frog 2/3 versus letting you just have a card. Okay. You can have a card, I guess. It didn't exile the land from my graveyard, which means my Frog can fly this turn if I wanted to. This Life from Loam is not going to do anything. Okay, 2 spells in their graveyard. Only 1 black mana, though. So that puts me to 5, and then Frog's a problem. I'll attack with my 3 power creatures again. Bowmaster, yuck. That might just kill me. You're at 9. That was your black mana, though. I need to leave 3 cards in hand for Frog. And this Deathrite can activate the other Deathrite, so I'm at 5. I've said a few times in the league, calling this like Legacy, make your opponent play Legacy, but abandon Legacy, banded Legacy. This is like the sickest, nastiest Legacy there's been, ever. It's the dirty Legacy we don't talk about anymore. And we had just, I mean, it's in pretty recent living memory for Legacy players. Just the whole Psychic Frog game where both players have Psychic Frog, but somebody had it first, and that person just wins. Okay. Yeah, that I might have been able to make different decisions somewhere in that game. I felt like I made a lot of decisions and then lost anyway. But them stealing my Leovold was really good. Maybe I should have been more careful about that happening. Okay, we just did this. Let's carry on. This hand is pretty mid. I've drawn this one of Light from the Loam a lot. There is only one of these, right? Yeah. It feels like there's 6 the way that I've just drawn it every single game. I think I have to do better than this. Oh no, this is worse. Can I rely on Gitaxian Probe to make the game happen? I'm going to keep this even though it clearly has some problems. I'm going to bottom Assassin's Trophy and hope that them not playing spells is how this game goes. Okay, I drew a Flusterstorm. Opponent doesn't have any threats in hand. They could play Misty or Wasteland here. Like Wasteland my Wasteland, get it out of the way is something that could happen. Went with the Wasteland. Wasting my Wasteland. I'll waste my Wasteland too. Moral victory. You don't destroy my Wastelands. I do. Okay. I'm going to play the Catacombs and work my way towards this Collector Roof, I guess. Misty. They're holding Abrupt Decay, which can be cast here. They could just float black and then let Oof resolve. But what if I had 2? A Tropical Island. Collector Oof. Yep, floated a mana. Fatal Push. Saving the Abrupt Decay. That makes even more sense than the thing I said. Fuck off. All right. Yep. Now we're going to be the ones in the garbage. And I said a lot at the start of this league about Bug being a deck that makes a lot of sense to play Unpowered because you really only play the on-color Mox-In anyway in your Collector Roof deck. But this Mox, them being 1 mana ahead of me on the draw, is everything. Like, they didn't combo off on turn 1. That's not what the problem is here. It's just they have this stable, unwastable mana source versus my deck that had kept a Wasteland hand. Okay, we're back in. Fetch. I'll get another Tropical Island. I'll play Collector Oof. And I have to hope they don't have another Wasteland here, because I know they could kill the Oof. I'm just going to have to let that happen, and then I'll loam back my other lands and start getting back to the Wasteland game. Okay. And now that there's a non-basic in play anyway, they're going to stop sandbagging this Bayou. There's the Bayou. All right, Light from the Loam, bring me home. Ooh, Treasure Cruise. A rare sighting of a powerful card. I'm still going to cast Light from the Loam first. I'd love if they Force of Will this. If they force a negation, I'll fight over it. Flusterstorm, whatever. That can happen. Okay, I'll pass the turn and hope they don't draw Wasteland. Assassin's Trophy. Do I have a basic? I don't think I do. Well, that sucks. Do I have to force this? I might. All right, force pitching, misstep. I think Flusterstorm will do more for me in the position we're in. All right, force pitching force. All right. They committed to that fight as well. And we are back to screwed. Come on, deck. Easy. Fetch. I'll get Tropical Island again. I think I want to waste this blue source just to play around Spell Pierce and the like. I can't play around, or I could have played around Bowmaster by leaving up Dismember, I guess. Hull Breacher, God, that's so much worse. All right, well, at least we know. Yeah, get that out of here. Okay. Well, that Wasteland was critical. Jesus. All right, well, we had a third force in hand. And now I have no plan at all. My plan is to draw a black source and a removal spell before my life total runs out, which is I get hit to 7 here. I draw, I go to 4. I draw, I go to 1. And if there's a fetch land in there, I lose. So it has to be straight up like Underground Sea plus long goodbye. Oko doesn't help. I think we're dead now. There's no sequence of draws that gets me out of this. I guess Deathrite Shaman would buy me a turn to maybe play some cards. Okay. Abrupt Decay. I have one more draw step to draw an untapped black source that isn't a fetch land. I think there are 3 cards in my deck that fit that bill. And if they have Orcish Bowmaster ever, even if I rip out here. Underground Sea. Bayou. Shut up. All right. Well, not let you do this. I am dead. I'm now on no outs. Or maybe I was supposed to actually let that resolve, because then Fatal Push would be an out. All right. Okay, yep. The streak of beating Bug at all points is over. My opponent with the rematch coming back at me. And they triple Force to Will, Hull Breacher. Good stuff. Maybe I'm being too aggressive with my Wastelands or too reliant on Light from the Loam. I just feel like this hasn't worked at all yet. And maybe I need to get set up first and then start wasting them in the mid game rather than just trying to cheese them early. Yeah, maybe I'm just doing this wrong. All right, we got one more round to go. I'm on the play in the final round. I'm going to keep my hand. I'm kind of hoping for a broken vintage deck. Like, we've played 4 extremely fair vintage games so far in this deck with 8 forces, 4 collector oof. Like, we're doing all this shit. 5 wastelands. We have all this stopgap for busted vintage nonsense, and we've just played Legacy 4 rounds in a row. Legacy where my opponents have a couple Power 9 cards in their deck. Opponent went to 3. Good chance this is Bazaar. I have Endurance green card that can buy me a little bit of time, but I am going to need a Wasteland before I feel good. A Bazaar confirmed. Creeping Chill, Serum Powder, Stinkweed Imp, Hollow One, you're in there. Okay, I'm going to fetch Underground Sea right now. I'm not going to keep up a fetch for Brainstorm. It doesn't, Fatal Push doesn't get up anyway. Okay, now I have a decision to make. I think I just play Psychic Frog, and I'm prepared to just eat my hand. 1, 2, 3. I can make Psychic Frog 4/5 and still have Endurance up. Okay, here we go. The alternative was play Bowmaster and Endurance them now. That way, when they Bazaar, they have to trigger some Bowmasters. But with the Hollow One in play, that's still only 3. Okay, here we go. They will be Hellbent at the end of this Bazaar activation. Okay, I'm going to respond to all these triggers with Endurance, pitching Abrupt Decay, because Oko could still work here. The Malta 3, really important here. If they had kept 7, I would not feel like this is even doing anything. They do get to draw for their turn, and that is a card they still have to play with. But unless it's another Bazaar, it's unlikely that anything's going to happen this turn that I care about. And now I'm extremely, extremely in the market for a Wasteland. The coast is clear. Okay, so they want to bet their Hollow One against my hand. And it's a little awkward because I actually do want this Bowmaster, even though I would beat the Hollow One in combat. Okay, here we go. Come on, Wasteland. Attack with Psychic Frog, keeping my land drop available. Assassin's Trophy, Beseiju. A lot of hits here. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Now I'm feeling okay. Waste that, play Bowmaster. And they didn't play the Bazaar from hand last turn. Maybe they wouldn't anyway, but I feel like they would to try to get something going. If they have a Bazaar, they just drew it right now. All right, the beats keep coming. Hold on. This can be a 4/4. Yeah, I'm going to take my hit from Hollow One, actually. And then the Elk on the Orc Army actually just trades with Hollow One in the future. They just said this is their first Vintage League. Well, welcome to the format. I think we all started with Dredge. A Force Blue card is something that might be happening over there. I'm going to play Oko pre-combat so I know if it resolves or not before I make any additional decisions. I'm going to Elk my Orc Army. Now it's a 4/4. I do have to be cognizant of Creeping Chill in case they find a Bazaar and get the game going. I am now in Creeping Chill range. Found another Strip Mine for the next Bazaar. Hopefully the game is over and they never find one, but I'm prepared. Okay, they've officially parked the bus. Force of Vigor. Here we go. That is an artifact creature. Light that up. I'm going to make a food. I like Bowmaster and Psychic Frog as the creatures they actually are, even though it is more damage to buff them. Fatal Push is not a card I'm going to need versus Dredge. I'm just going to get the game over here. Hit them for half their life total past the turn. Okay, cool. My wish for an actual Vintage matchup was met. And I feel like among all possible decks we could ever play against, Dredge is the one we're pretty gassed up for. 7 main deck answers to a Bazaar plus Endurance plus Deathrite. Then we bring in Leylines and Cage as well. This is a lot going on. I don't. So Force of Vigor is an answer to Hollow 1, which is how they get me if I start on Leyline. I also have Assassin's Trophy. Mental Misstep does very little here. Obnoxious Revival is a card they might have. I grabbed these Consigned to Memories just on a thought, because their whole deck is based on triggers, like countering a Creeping Chill trigger or a Narcomoeba trigger could be the turn you need to survive. But I don't think that's how I'm going to do that. Do I want my Flusterstorms in? Flusterstorm, the function of it would be to protect my Leyline. Collector Oof doesn't really matter here. Yeah, I think I'd rather have Fluster than Oof. And this leaves in the Forces just as a hedge versus Hollow 1. Dismember also beats Hollow 1, though. But it does it slowly. And Forces are green for Endurance, which was an important part of winning Game 1. Okay, I'm going to do it like this. Okay, double Wasteland, no Graveyard Hate. I could definitely lose the Slow Dredge here. Opponent Snap kept 7, yikes. Okay, mulligan to Leyline, or try to hold the fort with Wasteland. I think I'm going to mulligan to Leyline. Mulligan, this one's better than the 7. I like that it has Wasteland and Deathrite, but it doesn't have them quickly. Mulligan to 5. Okay, well, there are no lands here, but I like what's going on. I'm actually going to bottom the Frog and keep Collector Oof so I can beat Hollow 1. All right, here we go. I went from a 3-lander with double Wasteland to a no-lander, hoping that this would work out. If they just Force a Vigor in my upkeep, the game is over. Gitaxian Probe, see what's going on over there. Don't show me a Force of Vigor. Ugh. Okay, well, gonna have to draw a Wasteland now. Blue to Delta. All right, we're at least playing the game. And there's no Dredgers in their hand. There's a double Bazaar, though. Yikes. Okay, Underground Sea or Tropical Island. Tropical Island. I could get Bayou here. Yeah, it might just be Bayou, actually. What blue cards do I care about drawing? I guess it's Psychic Frog, but I have Deathrite Shaman. Yeah, I think it is Bayou, weirdly enough. Yeah, without Ancestral Recall in your deck, you get a lot of choices here, but they have the Misstep, so even this is bad. Yeah, we've lost this game. The 7-card double Bazaar Force Greed card Mental Misstep open. Ironically, my triple Wasteland or double Wasteland hand probably would have been good here. Okay, they didn't Bazaar in the end step. That was probably a click through because there's plenty of, like, that missed a bunch of opportunities to dredge. Okay, didn't play out the second Bazaar. I think they are learning the format, and you probably did want to do that. They waste the shit. Shambling Shell is the only dredger right now, and missed on more dredgers. I know there's another Bazaar here. Okay, if I draw a land that casts Assassin Trophy or a Wasteland, we might just be back. Or none of the above and we lose. It didn't end step the Bazaar again. Opponent, if you're watching this later, you want to be a lot more aggressive with this. They said this is their first Vintage League, and this is at least 2 rounds of Bazaar activation that they opted out of. Your job is to just end it here. You got through my Leyline, you got through my Deathrite, now just kill my ass. The good news about Dredge is you can make a bunch of mistakes and it doesn't matter. Okay. I can now destroy the other Bazaar. I have to do it on their turn. They dredged in the upkeep. They are Bazaaring again now. Okay, I'm going to destroy this other Bazaar and then hope that Orcish Bowmaster can stabilize. Oh, there's a Force of Will in here as well. Boo, boo. Okay, fine. In those turns they took off, Bazaaring did result in that Force of Will at somewhere along the chain, so maybe I'm wrong. Black, blue. All right, Psychic Frog, you're big enough to tangle. I don't think I have to worry about Hollow 1 at this point in the game. That card would have been in play by now if they had access to them. 2 Creeping Chills suddenly smoked. Yeah, all the Creeping Chill, or no, the one was discarded manually earlier, so they actually can't burn me out from 11. There are a lot of prized amalgams coming, though. I don't think the Psychic Frog's going to beat all of them. Okay, I'm going to block Amalgam and discard 2 cards. The Amalgams in the graveyard coming back on their end step will trigger this amalgam for my end step, which means it will be available to attack turn after next, but I still just have to beat the biggest creature. Yeah, there's 2 triggers here that will create more triggers, and it's Magic Online, so they won't forget it in my end step. That's too late. Does Bowmaster even stabilize? I could kill an Archamoeba, eat, chump. What happens if I Life from the Lone Wasteland here? They're still slow dredging. The amalgam still comes back. Yeah, I actually just need Bowmaster to even be alive. Okay, kill an Archamoeba. And if they mill the last Creeping Chill, I think I just lose anyway. Oh, there's an Icarid in there. Yeah, okay. Very dead. Now I gotta hope they accidentally deck themselves by over dredging. That's my out. All right, there's the chill. Okay, I am deceased. Game 3. Exactly the thing that I said happened, where you bring in the Flusterstorms to protect the ley line. I had the ley line. I couldn't protect it. Couldn't get my death right through. I think this is still my plan. Let's get it. Can I just have a perfect 7 with ley line? That would be great. About ley line, land, death right, force blue card. That's pretty damn close. All right, I will keep this. A ley line that I could protect and I could play Magic. That's what I wanted. If they're on a double hollow 1 start, I could definitely still lose this. But short of that, I like my position a lot. The ley line's in. If you're on the dredge side and you have Force of Vigor, you really want to act in the opponent's first upkeep if they lead on ley line. Because once they have a land, Spell Pierce, Flusterstorm, all that stuff comes on. Which makes me believe my opponent does not have that. Okay. They kept 6 and then didn't play Bazaar either. That is, you could say, bizarre. Another blue card to go with my 3rd force here. My next land applies pressure, and then any of the 2 drops I play can start attacking. Force Pitching Grave Troll. Force of Will. I'm going to hold on to this Treasure Cruise in case I get to a point where I can cast it. Yeah, that's the restricted Golgari Grave Troll. That's the only one of those you get in this format. There's Bazaar. When they start digging for a second round of hate is when I start really enjoying myself. Like, I think what you're supposed to be doing here is tapping Bazaar and just shredding and trying to find another force or another way through this. Grief Pitching Sickening Shoal. All right, well, if they have assembled Grief, Clear the Force, and then Force of Vigor, the ley line, without tapping Bazaar, then their hand was just really good. Took Abrupt Decay. Okay. That kind of turns off Endurance. Lorien Revealed. Okay, let's get moving on this. I'll get that Bayou that we love so much. Cycle Lorien for Trop. And I can fetch Underground Sea. I'm 1 short of Treasure Cruise right now, but I don't know that I want to lose the Force of Will anyway. All right, now we're Bazaaring. It's time. Time to start looking for answers. I know it feels bad to exile cards, but you're not going to win without a hollow 1 or with this ley line in play, so you might as well keep looking. I still think I'd rather fight through a hollow 1. Uh-oh, the double hollow 1. This is what I was worried about. I could force the second one, and then what's my plan? All right. Wow, that hurts a lot, actually. I lose my Treasure Cruise on this. Oh my god. Okay, well, maybe my opponent's a master and intentionally didn't Bazaar until they just naturally drew 3 hollow 1s all in 1 turn. All right, well, I'm a master too, so scoreboard. What a ridiculous game we're playing. I'm going to Force a Vigor now before their hand can be Force Blue card. Okay. Sideboard strategy paid off, leaving in those Force of Vigors. I am Hellbent. Opponent's got 2 cards and Active Bazaar. I have Leyline. All right, now you don't have Active Bazaar anymore. 1 more chance at this shit. Cool. Now we're chilling. I feel solid and comfortable from this point. I just need to find a way to actually win. I think I'll play out my 4th land. It's really only Brainstorm in my deck. That would make me not want to do that, and I only play 1. I do need to be applying pressure, though, because the Force of Vigors and other 3 Bazaars are in their deck somewhere. If I literally never apply pressure, I'm in trouble. The game is not over until their life total is 0. Oh, we got the GGs in the chat, though. If they have decided they don't want to play anymore. That's fine. Okay, sweet. A 2-3 record in what I would consider a pretty hostile league. We only played against one deck that I would consider really doing vintage stuff, which meant that we spent 4 matches of this league, 80% of our games played, with a bunch of stuff like Force of Negation, Collector Oof, Force of Vigor, just these stopgap aggressive, do whatever it takes to hamstring your opponent so you can win with your Deathray Shaman. And I boarded those out in a lot of matchups, almost all of them, in fact. And I don't say any of that as like a bad beat, just a observation on what this deck's trying to do is trip up your opponent so they have to play Legacy, which they're not ready to play because they're a vintage deck. But if you happen to queue into decks that are already built to be slightly more powerful Legacy decks, that's probably a tough spot for decks like this one. I felt like the easiest match we played was against Dredge, which was the most busted vintage deck that we played against. Obviously, the lack of power was felt. It's a weird thing because when you're just keeping hands and stuff, you're like, yeah, this all looks good. I'm into this. Deathray Shaman's pretty busted. I got a Force of Will, etc. But then when your opponent just casts a mid-game Ancestral Recall after you traded a bunch of resources, you're like, oh yeah, that shit. And then you feel really bad. But as far as unpowered decks go, I do like the position of this. If your metagame is more fair, then maybe you just don't main deck 8 forces and you play some extra fatal pushes or whatever. That's all tunable. But as far as the core cards, they're all good. They all work without power in your deck. That one Bug Mirror where they had a Collector Oof and then they stepped on their own Black Lotus without stepping on any of my things, like beating Powered Bug with Unpowered Bug. The same opponent came right back and mopped the floor with me in the next round, but that match did showcase maybe even an upside of being unpowered. This was a lot of fun. There is space to explore in the unpowered world in Vintage. Little Nebstar, congrats on your performance at Eternal Weekend, and thank you for sharing this with everyone. Everyone else, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.